with Leominster Mayor Dean Mazzarella. Mayor, what would you tell the residents in the wake of yesterday's shooting on Pleasant Street?
I'd say that it was an isolated situation, that I talked to a lot of people there yesterday, and we all agreed so much work has gone into the area. It's a good neighborhood, it's a safe neighborhood, and it's unfortunate that this situation had to take place and where you have so many people in a densely populated area. Sometimes there's a bad apple here and there.
Can you just tell me a little bit though about, is there any concerns about drug activity in that area?
Well, the one good thing is that people have been really good about getting us information from the neighborhoods all over the city, wherever there might be a problem. And LeominsterCrimeStoppers.com has been a huge success for us, and we're able to extract a lot of good, detailed information. And people sometimes want to remain anonymous, and we encourage that kind of thing. And that's the same sort of thing that we get, information throughout the city in different parts of the neighborhoods at different times of the year.
Now, how do you feel about the state police taking over the investigation from your department?
Well, I mean, they certainly have resources as we do as well. But whatever resources that's the whole point of the state police and the CPAC and is in the DA's office, is to work collaboratively so that we can solve issues like this.
And from what you're hearing, is this just an isolated case?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I spent quite a bit of time yesterday talking with the neighbors, and again, everybody agreed and said, look, every once in a while we get, somebody that moves into one of these apartments, but there are, there's probably 1,000 apartments literally around there. So, once in a while we get somebody bad here, and the police department and the patrol division has been good about, patrolling that area and building some intelligence and serving, search warrants. We're going to meet because the change of the season's coming. Obviously, more and more people will be outdoors. The radios will start to blare. Things change. People moved around during the winter time that we might have been watching or need to be aware of, and so we'll be going through that. But we'd like to, add some, walking beats to certain neighborhoods in the city, downtown. I think even the people that live there, who've lived there a long time, said, geez, we've not had these kinds of problems here. It's always busy around there. There's Wyman's, and it's a commercial area, and it's always busy. And
yeah.
But people were kind of disappointed that something like this happened, and because so much progress. Jimmy Whitney at his city place over there has done so much work, and Wyman's has done a lot of work. We've done so much work out there and keep it clean, and so it's disappointing, but it's I think it was something that was just a very rare situation to be right downtown like that and have this situation take place. This is pretty rare. I don't remember seeing anything quite like this. 5 o'clock at night, and right on the outskirts of the downtown area. I mean, that was pretty bizarre.
Okay.
But it didn't stop. I mean, I was there this morning first thing, and kids had the day off from school, and people were back out there and walking, and back to normal. Because I think for the most part they feel that it's overall a safe neighborhood. Again, we did a search warrant not too long ago down on that in that area, for drugs.
No, you did.
Yeah, and again, we the good information comes from people who live in those areas who give us that information about what might be happening. I can tell you, there's not a place that I wouldn't go to unarmed. I mean, I go to every section of the city. There's no place that I don't feel that I don't feel safe. I mean, I feel very safe in all aspects of it. So you got to be cautious no matter where you go. I mean, that's everywhere. But what it is it's listen. It's a city of 43,000 people, and there are going to be situations and times when people are going to just sort of pop up and somehow or another rent an apartment, and we don't always have the insight on who's moved in right away and who those people might be and who their associates are and who they associate with. But
any concern about like factions fighting for drug turf though? Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't heard anything like that at all. I mean, this could be a spillover from another city or town or another area. That's why I say you never know who's living there? And I say winter sometimes masquerades a lot of this stuff because, summertime you see a lot of activity. In the winter, people don't see as much as what might be going on. Part of the thing, that's part of what we've been doing with that brook area. We've been cleaning it out section at a time. We know that sometimes people would hang around behind Wyman's and everything, and that's again, the need for a beat patrol in the downtown area there. That's pretty key to us at this point because we think we've stabilized things and we want to stay on top of them rather than to lose them.
With all the work you've done then, is it a little disappointing to have this happen? You've taken out the bushes, like you said, you cleaned up the brook.
Listen, if anybody was to say there's some magic potion that would allow, guarantee us that nothing would happen anywhere in a city of 43,000 people, I'd be glad to jump on board real quick. But it's things are going to happen. We work really hard to prevent them, and I think we're aggressive about it. But certain situations, I've never heard of these people that were involved in this. I don't think the neighbors really knew who these people were. But again, the greatest thing, the biggest thing that we can do is not let thugs take over the streets. That's A. B, what you can do to help us is to provide us the intelligence, the information that will help us to arrest these people. Just knowing, there are a lot of cases where the police know about these people, but they need information. They need hardcore information to provide, probable cause, or to get enough information gathered so they can get a search warrant or move to the next step. So just knowing them is helpful, but as much information as we can gather is helpful. So that's where what can the average citizen do is if they want to remain anonymous, they can go to LeominsterCrimeStoppers.com. They can text us. There are a number of different ways that they can provide us with this information, and this information comes in readily now through CrimeStoppers.com, and it's amazing what good information we get. I encourage that. That's the way. That's how the police can't be on every street, in front of every house, in every neighborhood at the exact same time. I mean, clearly you saw within 2 minutes yesterday. We're talking 2 minutes. There were, I can't tell you how many police resources there, but they can't all be at the same place. But neighbors, people that are in their neighborhood, they know the sort of everyday activities of other people there. When they see something that doesn't look right, or they see certain activity that seems suspicious, believe me, it's been a huge help to us, the Crime Stoppers, and you'll see more of it.
Yeah.
Of Crime Stoppers.
Has that been growing in popularity?
All the time.
Growing in usage, I mean?
It is amazing the information that people provide us and the level of detail that comes from that. Okay. But we can't let a couple of people who, for whatever activity was going on, to scare us all into, seclusion and, extra deadbolts and not walking the streets, or, we just can't let that happen. That's not an option.